Hey guys, so today we're going to work on 4 different paintings in Procreate and play around with some of the brushes. This will sharpen our painting skills when we get to our canvas as well. So today we're going to map out the shape of some carnations in Procreate, and it helps to do that before you start an actual acrylic or oil painting to try to find the shapes. Also experiment with the colors and brushwork. And this little beanie baby is named Carnation. And the poem inside says, I'm pink, imagine that, a funny color for a cat. My favorite flower in creation is a pretty pink carnation. And guess what? That really is my favorite flower, a carnation. So we're starting with this Lily Dell paintbrush in Procreate, and we're gonna map out the shape of these petals. So as you can see, this flower has kind of a star shape, stars within stars, and we're going to start this with this blush pink color. So we're just mapping in the general shape. It's a round flower, and then we're going to go back and try to make these zigzag shaped petals. They're like concentric rings around each other. The flower is tightly packed with these stars within star shapes. And right now I am getting a darker center because it's getting the least amount of light in the center. So I'm just putting in a few of these dark places here. Okay, so now we can go around the edge of the flower and do this zigzag type shape with a lighter pink color. It's almost like a whitish pink, and just trying to do a zigzag to suggest this starburst star shape that's happening on the edges here. The cool thing about this Lily Dell brush is it kind of blends with the background color, and some of the edges on the carnation are a little jagged, and so I'm trying to suggest that too. But this is a really good way to try to map out the shapes in your flower before you actually do a real painting. And this flower is actually the buds are just starting to open up, so that's why it's so tightly packed together. And as the flower sits for days, the buds will start to open up more, and we're going to do another carnation that's a little more relaxed, and the petals are starting to fall out to the sides more, not be so densely packed together. So yeah, Procreate is a good way to experiment with your colors too, to try to see what shades you're looking at. So we're going to be painting a second carnation in Procreate that's been sitting on the counter for a few days, and so the petals have relaxed and opened up a little bit more, and so you're still seeing that zigzag pattern on the edges, but everything is getting a little bit fluffier. And a quick story is, when I was a little girl, my mother used to bring home carnations from the tables where she was a waitress, and they had to switch out the flowers every day. And I would get so excited about the carnations, and I would always stick my face in the petals. So I think that's why they're my favorite flower. Okay, so again, I've started with a center color that's darker than the rest of the flower, because I'm hoping it will peek through in the cracks here and there. And I've taken this lighter shade of pink and going around the edges and making some of these outside petals, and the very edges of the petals are a little bit frayed, And that's the nice thing about this Lily Dell brush, is you can blend it a little bit with that black background and show the frayed edges of the petals. So just going in and doing some more zigzags and doing some more little frayed edges on the petals that are peeking through here and there, and just trying to make everything look a little more compact. And I'm just sort of pushing and pulling this color around with these brushes, so going between the lighter pink and the darker pink, and just they're sort of blendy like real oil paints would be. And now I'm taking a white and going around the very tips of these and just highlighting the very tips of the petals. And here comes the stem at the bottom. So this next brush, the Velia brush, I don't know if I'm saying that right. It's also very blendy, and I was making these squiggle marks and it reminded me of a pig, so I drew a little pig. It also kind of reminds me of intestines. So I was doing circles with this, and I noticed it was also very blendy like oils, and it was blending with the black background, which I thought was kind of nice. And this reminded me either of like pink cotton candy, or maybe like a swirly cone of ice cream. So I'm drawing a waffle cone right here. I started thinking about Baskin Robbins. I don't know if you guys have ever walked into one of those places, but they give you this little pink spoon, and you can try different samples to see what you want before you buy it. So Baskin Robbins, it smells heavenly in there. It's the, I guess it's the cinnamon waffle cones. It's one of the best scents. But I found this nightjar brush, and it kind of reminded me of maybe like some sprinkles. But it's more like splatter, so I put that on the ice cream. And now I found another brush, and I'm painting, looks like mint chocolate chip ice cream. Does anybody like that flavor? But I did the mint chocolate chip with it's called a salt mallow brush, and this is just a regular sugar cone, I guess. So I just like to try out different brushes in the program and see what kind of effects I can come up with, and if it reminds me of something, then I'll just go with that. And I thought that salt mallow brush reminded me of like a hand dip scoop of ice cream with the texture on the sides. And so now I'm just going in with my Lily Dell brush and putting in some chocolate chips, and also it looks like we're getting a pink spoon sample scoop of chocolate ice cream. And I think that's it for this painting here. Oh, here comes the drip marks on the side. You gotta have drip marks when the ice cream melts in the hot sun. Okay guys, so this is the Ravenswood brush that I found in the pastel section of Procreate, and I thought it was cool how it lays down like an actual pastel chalk if you took the side of your chalk and ran it across your page, it would make these kind of powdery marks. And the other cool thing is you can take your blender tool and run it through these patches, and you see how it makes it blurry, and it really does blend like real pastels if you were to take your finger and swipe it across the page. So I'm really just experimenting and trying to see what these brushes can do in Procreate. Okay, so right here I'm getting an idea for a painting, and I've decided to do a landscape, and I thought these marks reminded me of a bush of roses, or maybe it's a peony bush or peony bush, depending on where you live. That's how you might say it. So I'm just going in with the same brush and putting in these little dabs of hot pink color, and now I'm taking the same brush and I've turned the color blue to make a blue sky. And now I'm putting in a red dirt trail over here. So you can adjust the settings on your brush to make the diameter wider or more narrow of a stroke, and it also changes the opacity. And so I was thinking maybe this is a river bank, and maybe that's a river, and then on the other side are some hills or a mountainous range maybe. And I was trying to use this white to make it look like maybe the sun was sparkling on the water. And this could actually be like some marshy land too, or it could be like a field, but it kind of reminded me of water, with maybe the sky is reflecting on top of the water. So they say to achieve depth, you should gray out your mountains in the back, and also at the horizon line, your sky should be a lighter blue color, and as it goes up higher into the painting, it's going to be a brighter blue, a darker blue. And I'm just adding in a cloud right here, and I think it does look like maybe the sky and the clouds are reflecting on the surface of the water. Alright guys, so that is the end of the painting, and we're coming to the end of the video. And if you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do, so more people can see my videos. And just wanted to share another view of this little birdhouse with this bird that's going in there to feed its babies.